Hello and welcome to 2024 Ascension Energies Training, Episode 1. I am Tamara Larice, and you will find that I like to use a mix of tarot, astrology, law of attraction, messages from my guides, inspiration from my higher self, and even more specifically for the purpose of this course, I am tapping into the wisdom of the planets. Okay, so as we know that 2024 is a year marked for strength. I have a strength card. Okay, strength. Okay, it's an 8 year. So this is the 8th card in tarot, and this is marked with strength. Strength is about being able to self-resource, your ability to connect to the divine, to connect to what's true inside of yourself, in order to be able to be at peace with any fears you may have perceived previously. This is going to be a year of boots on the ground in real time, and what's going to feel like a circus funhouse, like funhouse mirror. What is it? What is it? What was I say? My guides were saying funhouse mirrors. That's what they were calling it. Funhouse mirrors. It's going to feel like what in the world is going on? Okay. And so being able to tap into your own intuition and to be able to notice when that fear is coming up, being able to look at it right in the face and deciding that you rather feel into what your higher self knows to be true, and that will feel sort of magical inside your body versus fear. So this is what she's doing here, is standing next to that lion. The lion has his mouth open. She's able to look right into it, and they are one with each other. She's not pushing him away. She's one with him. Okay, so this is what is going to be sort of an overlighting mentor or overlighting direction and call for this year for us individually. Okay, at the same time, we're coming into Pluto moving into this Aquarian season or Aquarius, right? And Aquarius is this is going to be a total paradigm shift. We all know that. Huge paradigm shift, and it's going to be based in our personal authenticity, being able to express ourselves fully and completely who we are. It's being able to, again, very much like the strength card here. I love how in hand these two go, because this woman she is being able to pull from. She's pouring in back into the source of all light. This is like a celestial pool. So she's able to pour information that she's gathering. This is what our human job is here on this planet in a 3D body, is to be able to look at the 3D experience and to be able to give that information. Our information is then being given to our higher self through our life experiences, and being able to go back into that universal pool of infinite intelligence. Okay. And then we can use that, drawing back from that pool, to be able to bless our earthly experience, our 3D experience. Okay, so this moving into Pluto, there's a ton of videos, a ton of people talking about what to expect with this Aquarian energy, and so, but really, my favorite thing about this card and its connection to, this is the card of Aquarius, and it's telling us that we are able to now receive enormous blessings through our divine connection after very challenging periods of time. And this is the card that comes directly after the Tower card. Okay, so after something challenging, and we all saw when Pluto was in Capricorn, how many of our beliefs, the things that we had been, these structures that we had guided ourselves by, these rules, these standards, and where they were coming from, and finding out that that wasn't necessarily always appropriate for us individually. So this is where the individual rises to be a strength to the collective. All right. And so this is, you see how both those go directly hand in hand for this beautiful year of 2024. We're setting the tone for the next 20 to 24 years of our life experience this year. Okay. And most specifically, for this course, like I had said, what I'll be doing is tapping into the energy of the planets. And I'm being called at this time, the messages came from, I'm feeling a real strong resonance with, Let's see. This is Mercury. Mercury is the messenger of the gods. He is the Greek god Hermes. Okay, the messenger of the gods. This is also Gemini card, and he is the magician. This is the highest octave of being able to connect to divine resources, divine source energy for infinite. We saw that again on. These are the only two that have the infinity sign, right? The magician and the strength card. Infinite possibilities are available for us this year, and so it's a really great time to be able to come together and start walking through this hand in hand, right? With things that messages and people that resonate with us, that strengthen us as individuals and help us to be able to rise to the best and continue to be the next best version of ourselves. So so along with Mercury, I'm also tapping into the moon energy, very strong moon energy. So this is the ability, the divine ability to see beyond what currently is. That's extremely important in a creation process. When it comes to manifesting your life, you have to have the ability to be able to see beyond what currently is. And this is what the moon does, be able to see behind the scenes, underneath, be able to tap into our own divine intuition, which will give us a fresh, new, different perspective. And we tap into, again, if you look behind the veil here, beyond the veil of the material world, she's got, and I don't know if you can see it so well in this card deck, but she has a pool, an ocean of depth behind the veil here. And again, if we're taking a look back, ties directly right into the Aquarian energy that we're walking into, that celestial pool. So you can see how all four of these energies that are potent this year and significant are all working together. Okay, so let's see. Now, I want to let you know that for the purpose of this course, I'm receiving this information just slightly ahead of you guys, being able to embody it, take in the message, embody it, work with it, have a deeper understanding, the impact that it has on my personal life, and then bring this information to you. So I had no idea that I was going to be doing this course until about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. It sort of came together as I went through a very personal healing experience. And it was interesting because I had that experience, and then so I was able to put all that information together and just felt like I needed to share it. And then the next message started to reveal itself to me. And I was going, wow, this is pretty potent. And the download, boom, 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 came in of, okay, you're doing this course now. And I had thought a few months ago, wouldn't it be fun for us to get together, because this is a year of abundance, being able to draw off of our personal power, being able to stand our authenticity, to be able to have the most abundant year that we have seen in quite some time, abundant in all aspects of our life. But yes, prosperity, financial prosperity. So there's a strong essence towards, and the eight in numerology is about using your personal power, your true power, not power over somebody, that self-resourcing power to create the abundance in your life. So I thought that would be fun for us to come together, learn in real time. Little did I know that was actually a premonition for what was about to take place, because now here we go in 2024. And here's another part of this. Because the energy is moving so much faster, it's so much lighter, there's two parts to that. Manifestation happens quicker. So what you place your attention on will slingshot back into your experience much quicker than it ever had before. So you see why having a lighter sense of mind, a lighter open heart, lightness in our body, and be able to understand that through our lightness and peace inside of ourselves, again, back to this, peace inside of ourselves is what is this replenishing energy, gives us the ability to receive that information from our higher self, from the celestial pool of infinite intelligence, and to be able to create what it is that we desire through that purification process, that personal purification process. And when I say personal purification, what I mean is meditate, meditating at night before you go to sleep, meditating in the morning before you begin your day. And we'll go a little bit further into that, but it is, the meditation part is going to be key here. It's like there's no not doing that part of self-care any longer if you want to be able to feel like you have any sort of, I don't want to, I hesitate to use the word control, but conscious creative power. We'll go with that. Conscious creative power in your life. Meditation is absolutely non-negotiable at this point. Okay. So the second part of the energy moving faster is it gives us the ability to slow down a little bit. We have the ability to enjoy life more than we had been able to before. So before that, we'd have felt this like strong pressure to produce, constantly go. And sensitive people, have been backing away from that for quite some time, saying like, I rather not engage in the world in that way, but still want to feel like they are, productive in their lives and doing meaningful things for themselves. Right. So this energy that we're coming into is really going to help us individually feel like we can slow down and enjoy our creative processes, enjoy the life that we've built for ourselves, which again is what brings more of that in. Because if we're focused on appreciating what we have, what we've created, we will be able to bring more of that into our life. Okay. So now let's get into what the actual training is here today. Okay, yes, I have notes because I gotta have a lot of air in my chart, and I will go off into space somewhere. Okay, so let's see here. So the message for today is all about the cryon wound, okay, and healing that cryon wound. So, okay, this has to do with the fact that the North Node is in Aries, okay? And the North Node always represents your destiny. Your destiny is the intention that you had when you came into this life. It's also called the divine blueprint, which is stored in your heart space, and it is the promise that you made to yourself when you came to this earth experience. Now, the way that you go about that is still going to be predicated on preferences that you grow and learn in this life. So when you've had experiences, you've had preferences out of those experiences, and as more you lean towards those preferences, you're going to be able to be, let's say, again, back to that conscious creative power of deciding how you're going to bring that blueprint or that intention into this, how to make it a physical experience, right? So it's always a co-creation process. Yes, there is an intention. While you have your experiences, you're going to have your interests have everything to do with you bringing your destiny into this physical experience for you to have. And when you harmonize with your personal destiny, what you have, your purpose work, essentially the things that drive you and light you up, you feel as satisfied. You feel purposeful. You feel like like everything is possible for yourself. And again, that's those infinity signs that we saw on the magician and on the strength card. So this divine destiny being the North Node, and that being in the sign of Aries right now. Aries is fire, and Aries wants you to have self mastery over, this dominion over your. We hold as humans dominion over our own 3D experience, right? So having self mastery through purpose is what Aries is saying to us right now. Cryon is in Aries and will be for 2024. North Node in Aries to all of 2024. Okay. So as I was moving personally, as I was moving to into this, more of my purpose work, answering the call, that kind of thing, this personal wound that I had been carrying with me my entire life and had never been able to completely heal. I mean, sure, there have been times where it would soften and I was able to move around it, but let's be honest, this cryon wound is something that we have spent a lifetime trying to outrun, trying to outmaneuver, trying to cover up because maybe it's a little bit shameful that we haven't been able to manifest that one thing in our life. And And so it has a huge impact. Now, let's get a little bit deeper and go a little bit deeper with that crown wound here and say this would be something that you had been aware of your entire life. Okay, when you were young, you would have had an awareness on this subject. If you look back, and you'll be able to see this. I'll spell it out for you to identify it. But you would have had an awareness around this subject when you were young, and then there would have been an incident or several incidences that had took place that lodged that wound deep within you and made it become prevalent in what could be called a subconscious, but it's not actually subconscious. There's a part of you that's really aware of it all the time. And because of that, it continues to show up in your life experience. So the call at this point is to be able to heal that crown wound. Now, I wanted to give, because it's a little bit fun here, I wanted to give a little bit of background on Creon himself, the Greek god Creon, and then tell you how Creon got its name. And we'll go into then being able to identify this for yourself and being able to heal this for yourself. Okay, so Creon is the son of Kronos. Kronos is the Greek god of the planet. He's Kronos is his Greek god name, okay, and he's the planet Saturn, okay, and his son is Zeus. Kronos comes to Earth looking for Zeus one day, and he notices this water nymph and is taken back by her and falls in love with her, okay, and she is not interested in him. So she keeps trying to avoid his advances and he continues to pursue her. So she goes to Zeus and she asks Zeus to turn her into a horse, a mare. Okay. Well, Kronos finds this out and he turns himself into a male horse, a stallion, and he impregnates her. Okay. So she goes to a mountain and she gives birth to her child. When her child is born, she sees that she actually gave birth to a half human and half horse centaur. Now, there are other centaurs on the earth at this time, but they are not gods. They are descended from another person, another being, but not gods. Okay. In fact, they're very unruly and they're said to have been descendants of somebody who is quite evil or nefarious. And so I don't have a lot of information about that backstory of where they came from, but that's about as much as I know on their on the story of where their mm, their origin. Okay, so now we have baby boy Kronos, or Chiron is born. Okay, and Kronos takes off and goes back to heavens or wherever gods hang out, Olympus, right? So he goes back. She has this baby. She is so mortified that she has a half human, half horse child that she, in shame of this monstrous child, abandons it. And from what I understand, goes and asks to be turned into a tree because she can't bear the shame. All right. So she abandons her child. A shepherd finds him and he takes him to the temple. I think it's a temple Athena. I'm not sure if that's exactly the temple, but he does take him to the temple of the gods. And Athena and Apollo adopt Chiron, and he is brought up with this elite education. Okay, he is taught art and philosophy and medicine and healing. He is known by the gods as a great. He's known for his great prophetic, his ability to be a prophet, prophetic abilities. I don't think I'm saying that correctly, but prophetic. There we go. Prophetic abilities. So he's known for his prophetic abilities. He's known to be a healer. He's known to be an extremely wise man, and he teaches many of the gods. Okay. And he also learns the art of the warrior. And he's probably closer to Zeus's son's age, his nephew, Hercules. So he's out with Hercules and the other guys, and he is practicing the art of the warrior, but they're fighting off beings like the Titans. They're fighting centaurs, because centaurs were extremely brutal and unruly at that time. They were barbaric almost in their nature. They had this insatiable thirst for alcohol. They had an insatiable lust for women. They would go into villages and they would just wreak havoc all over the place. And I believe I read somewhere that the first laws for civilization, were invoked because of centaurs. I can't, don't quote me on that. I can't guarantee it, but I believe I read that somewhere. Okay. So here we have Zeus, no, the son of Zeus, Hercules, and Chiron, and they're fighting they go out and they're protecting humanity, and they're fighting off the beings that want to cause harm, right? So they're in battle one day, and Hercules has these arrows that are poisonous, and he shoots the intended target, and that it goes through, it pierces through the intended person target, right? And it goes into it hits Chiron in the leg and or the knee. You could depending on which story you're reading. Okay, so but it lodges in there, and when the arrow's removed, they realize because it's a poisonous arrow, the poison can't be removed from him. They can't heal the poison. And because he's a god, he cannot die. So in his agony and excruciating pain, he asks for his immortality to be taken away from him so that he would be able to die. Well, he ends up living as a mortal for about 900 years or so with centaurs. And he ends up teaching these centaurs. Now, he was not able to heal his own wound, except but he was able to use his wound for good. So, as we've had these challenging experiences on these very specific topics for our own self, we have learned a lot from that. And by healing it, you begin to see what you've learned from that, okay? But it has to die, it has to go away in order for you to, it can't be this throbbing wound anymore. So here we are walking into this Pluto in Aquarius, okay? Here's where it gets even extra interesting for me anyway, I thought. When Chiron actually dies, as a gift to him, I think it's Prometheus, as a gift to him, turns him into a star constellation. I mean, okay, right, you guys? So I want to tell you, the Aquarius, if you don't already know, the ruling planets for Aquarius are Saturn and Uranus. Uranus is Father Heaven, which is Saturn's father, okay? And Saturn would be Kronos' father. Okay, but here we go. We're into now this Aquarius. So star card, okay? Promises after a very challenging experience, okay? So now if you consider this wound as an extremely challenging experience, but has brought a lot of contrast into your life. And if you're familiar with the law of attraction, you understand when you're having contrasting experiences, and I think that, we did go over that just a little bit, but when you're having contrasting experiences, your higher self is extracting, or you're essentially sending a preference to your higher self, whether you're able to articulate it or not. Okay. So now Pluto is ruled by Hades. Is the equivalent of the Greek god Hades. Underworld. It's the death card. Okay. I don't have that out. I don't want to take the time to really look for it right now, but it is the death card. So this is really interesting. Okay. So if you consider that he was turned into a star constellation, and then he was, and then he had to die in order for that to take place. So Pluto being the death and underworld, now we're being able to see it's time for that. It's time. It's time now. And Mercury, the messenger of the gods, is saying, like, this is a gift from the gods. This is a gift from the gods. So if Saturn is Chiron, Zeus is Jupiter. Saturn and Jupiter are telling Mercury to give us a message that it is time to let that old wound die. It's time to let it go in order to be able to become the star, or to be able to receive those blessings and open up to that celestial pool of your own personal divinity to open up to those blessings, to be able to bless your own life. See this magician here, he's blessing his own life. He's got one hand to the sky, to the heavens, and one hand to the earth, and he's pointing down. And look at how blessed he is. And he's using all the available tools. This is every tool in the zodiac chart. Is that right? In the tarot. So we have the cups, we have the pentacles, we have the sword, and we have the wand. Okay, so those are the elements of the tarot. Okay, so he has all of those at his disposal, and you can see how flourishing his life is with all this fresh greenery and flowers there. So they're saying to us now, it's time to heal that. It's time to let it go. All right, this is our work this week. There's also I just want to say this other little bit, okay? All right, you guys, I'm gonna show this other little piece, and then we'll go into like how to identify it for yourself and to be able to heal it. All right. So there is a belt of asteroids, and it is not the asteroid belt. It is a belt of asteroids called centaurs. The centaurs, right? Sagittarius is a centaur. So this message starts coming in. We being able to start like having some wiggle in this to be able to release it, while Mercury was doing this dance between Capricorn. Remember that really weird retrograde between Capricorn and Sagittarius there in December, and then it was in Sagittarius and then Capricorn. So it's just been doing this really strange dance between like where we've been and what we've held ourselves to where we're going. So where where we've been would be more of that Capricornian energy that we're moving out of, to this Sagittarian energy, which is like this adventurous, fun, like go for it. Okay, so that's a really interesting piece. But here we have this asteroid belt. Okay, and they're called the centaurs. And Chiron is located in that asteroid belt, and it was discovered in 1977. And what's interesting is about this belt is that and I want to make sure I've got my notes here. I want to be really clear. If I can find it, I apologize here. It is orbiting. So it orbits between the seen with the naked eye planets and the unseen planets. So it's like Saturn, Uranus, like what is it, Jupiter and Neptune, in that region right there of this, like the seen planets and the unseen planets. Okay, so it's literally back and forth between what you can see, what you're experiencing in this physical world, what you can perceive with your five senses, and the unseen, which again, here we have back to the moon card, behind the veil, what's available for you in these unseen worlds. Okay, so I thought and the reason they're called the centaurs is because they were identified as asteroids, except they have a tail of a comet, half man, half horse, half asteroid, half comet. I mean, it's pretty fascinating stuff, you guys. At least for me. I hope it is for you as well. So okay, so now let's go into how to identify it for yourself. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is have your chart available, your natal chart. If you don't already have your natal chart available, there are all kinds of websites that do this for free. There are all kinds of apps that you can get for free that will give you your natal chart. The one that I recommend to my clients, I don't have any affiliate like association with it or anything, but I just find it to be really a beneficial one, is the Pattern. It's an app, and has a white background and like a swoosh of like black, like a black wave, something along those lines. Okay. And it's called the Pattern, and it gives you a really good breakdown of your complete chart, your natal chart. So you're going to want to have that. Okay. And if you don't know how to calculate your houses, I'll let you know really quickly. You're going to want to look for your A. It's a capital A, small s is a symbol. It's your ascendant sign or your rising sign. That's going to symbolize your first house. And then you will count all the way around counterclockwise, backwards from the way that a clock moves. Okay. So counterclockwise, you're going to count first house, second house, third house, all the way to the 12 houses. Okay. So you're going to look for AS as my ascendant. That's my first house. All right. So it starts there. And then you're going to want to find the K. Okay. You're going to want to find the K symbolizes Chiron. Now, Chiron is actually spelled Chrion. I think I'm not good at spelling out loud, but okay. It's actually spelled the CH, but in your chart, it is symbolized with a capital K. So you're going to want to see what number of house that K is located in. Okay, take note of what house it's in. And here's where the moon becomes the key to this. You also must look at what house your moon is in order to be able to identify your Chiron wound. This is why it can be so difficult to be able to get down and find, because it'll just be like this energy that's just like been with you for so long, and to be able to identify it has been nearly impossible. So you're going to want to look at the house that your moon is in. You're going to want to look at the house that your Chiron is in, and then you're going to want to do a little search, do a little Google search on what those houses represent. So if it's, say, Chiron's in your 10th house and your moon is in your 4th house. Okay, so you're going to want to look at what both of those represent. Here's where meditation is so important at this point. Okay, so you're going to want to have yourself in a very calm, very peaceful, very open. You do not want to have a lot of things on your mind. You don't want to have any pressure. You want to be able to give yourself time and space to be able to do this. Okay, treat this as a sacred ceremony and come from a meditative state. And then you're going to want to look at both of those houses. And what will happen when you begin to see what each house represents, there's going to be a merging of those two things that come together, and it will begin to surface. And how do I know it's going to surface? Again, we're back to law of attraction here, because when you pick up a subject, it will be in the last place you left it. No matter how long you've been ignoring something, when you look back at that subject, you're going to be energetically or emotionally in the same place if that frequency hasn't been changed. Okay, if you still have the same perspective, the same energy, the same emotion on that subject. So when you pull those houses together, you're going to be what's called a trigger. You're going to be triggered. Okay, this is why meditation is very important when you do this. So you're going to be triggered, and you're going to see that come up, and you're going to be like, oh my God. And you're going to go click, 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 to back to these, how you had these experiences in your life. You can see where that arrow, that poisonous arrow, got lodged into your body, and it's stuck there as a trauma, and this trauma got trapped inside your body. Okay, and you'll also be able to recognize how even younger, before that trauma had been lodged in there had been an awareness of that subject. You had been aware of how your parents were on that subject, or the other people around you were on that subject. There would have been already an awareness around it. Okay, so you kind of came in predisposed to this. So as you can see, that has everything to do with your destiny. Okay, so big contrasting experience births a huge solution or blessing on your behalf. Right? It's like a dam holding back while these blessings are being built up, energetically built up by your higher self. And then once that dies and goes away, the dam is taken down. Now these blessings can start coming into your life. Okay, so now we've looked at the two houses. We're triggered. We're in it. It is very important. It is very important that about the time that I said, take a look, ... all these things come together. Holy crap, I can see it, is about as long as you want to stay on the specifics, the situations, the circumstances. Do not go into feeling sorry for yourself for these things happening. Okay, because then you're going to continue feeding it energy. If you continue telling yourself a story, a narrative, the people, the place, the thing that happened, as long as you keep telling yourself that or continue that going on in your mind, you are going to continue feeding the wound. You are not going to heal it. So you need to see it, And by seeing it, you will be able to recognize that this very specific energetic wound or pain can be isolated. It can stand on its own and be able to be visible to you. Now that it's visible, now that it's isolated, now that you are consciously aware of seeing it inside of your body, now is the time to be able to accept it. Zero judgment. Zero judgment. Saying something along the lines of like, hey friend, like we've been together for a long time, haven't we? We know each other. We know each other. And I accept you. Come here, sit next to me. Let's just be together. You're going to want to be loving. You're going to want to be kind to that wound. All right. And once you reach the point of absolute and complete acceptance, okay, we've done a lot together. When you reach a point of complete acceptance, it will be able to move then out of your body. That's why you have to take complete and total judgment out of it. That's why you have to go into this from a very peaceful, clear-minded, loving, meditative state. Okay? So, now that it's moved, let's be really, really honest with ourselves. There's going to be a very tender spot. You don't come out of a major surgery and go run a marathon. And it's going to be very similar to that. Okay? So give yourself grace to understand that you're going to be a little bit wobbly in that area in your body. You're going to feel a sense of shakiness or weakness. You're going to feel a sense of emptiness there. And I want you to just have appreciation if you can. You can give yourself a gift of appreciation for the difference that you feel inside your body. What will happen is by using that positive energy of appreciation, your higher self now has access to that to be able to start bringing in your natural truth or your higher self's truth and perspective on the subject. You'll be able to start receiving blessings. You'll be able to start opening up to more of your creativity. You'll be able to move more freely in your life towards your destiny, and you'll be able to receive inspiration on meeting your abundance, meeting your prosperity. You won't feel a sense of pressure inside of yourself. You won't feel a sense of like it releases so much anxiety, so much pressure. And with that North Node being in Aries and pulling you to fulfill your call, and that wound being so deep and so integrated and so entangled and enmeshed in so many of our decisions, our relationships on subjects. Well, think about it. You have a relationship with your home. You have a relationship with people. You have a relationship with your career. You have a relationship with your finances. You have a relationship with your social life. You have all kinds of relationships in your life. How you tend to your resources is a relationship. It's been whatever areas in your life in those houses that were affected the most significantly, where your moon is and where your Chiron is. Those decisions in those areas have been so hurt and come from a wounded place inside of ourselves. You're not going to feel that. And it seems to me, as I have had my personal experience with this, I was able to see how so many other wounds had stemmed from that wound. So as I've been on my healing journey, I've been like healing this and then healing that and then moving forward and healing that and then moving forward and healing that. And once I got down to finally that Chiron wound and let that go, it's literally like pulling a master thread. Okay, it's like pulling that master thread that like releases all pieces that were tied into it, that were sewn together, right? All of these branches, all these timeline decisions, if you will, and then a master timeline. It's like pulling it back to original self, pulling it back to authentic self, which is where we're at. This is if you realize we're starting this conversation is happening in the first month of 2024. It is like bam, we're starting off boots on the ground, intense, like we're doing this, we're going for it. But here's one of the greatest blessings that is coming from 2024. Not only is it going to be a transformative year, My guides are saying you have the ability to be transformed within your dreams, being able to be realized. Being able to be realized in the real world by and through you and your connection to that celestial pool of infinite intelligence, your higher self's connection to source energy. That's pretty big. That's a pretty big deal. And I trust my guides. I trust my guides. This is not a time to be making false promises, right? This is a time to say, hey, you know what? I can feel a firmness in that. I can feel a certainty in that. I personally can. And I'd love to and to hear whether or not you're able to feel a sense of truth and certainty inside your own body as those words are being spoken. And if not, maybe after you do your Chiron healing, then no, nope, they're saying no. You should be able to feel it now. You should be able to feel now that enormous blessings are coming on your behalf. And those blessings are not random gifts by the universe. They are a direct response to situations and experiences that you have had in your life. And your higher self has birthed the solution and blessings and gifts on your behalf based on your experiences. This is what creates a desire. This is how you communicate with your higher self. Your human body is the one doing the dirty work of having all kinds of random experiences all throughout life, right? And your higher self is pulling it together in an organized way. And it's time to be able to meet those desires, meet those dreams, meet a very satisfied version of yourself that's authentic to you, that's purposeful and creative to you. I'm pretty excited about this, you guys. So I hope that you found that very helpful, and I would love to hear your comments. Let me know if you have any questions. And if you resonated or were interested in this message, go ahead and like, of course, and subscribe so that you will be notified for next week's episode. So I look forward to seeing you there. I look forward to getting to know all of you. Um, I'm a Libra sun. I'm going to say this now. I'm just going to get this out of the way. I'm a Libra sun. So relationships with those that I am in communication with are that I have a sense of thriving in that. So I look forward to building a relationship with each one of you that resonate with these types of messages and are looking forward to walking on this journey with me and my guides as we transform ourselves through the realization of our dreams and come out the best version yet at the end of 2024. We'll see you next week.